most painful race of my life. This was like another level of pain. Found a way to keep believing in myself, even against all odds at every stage. There's nothing I would rather be doing than this grind.
Hello and welcome to the Runna Podcast. We are here at the finish line here in Boston, where I have just had the pleasure of chatting to Sara Hall. She is one of the most decorated American distance runners and has an outstanding career, a career of 2 decades. 8 consecutive Olympic trials from teenager to in her 40s. But the key to her success is how her breakthroughs have come from her setbacks, and her best performances have actually come later. She talks about her mindset, her longevity in the sport, and how she's got to the places where she has now. Let's get into the episode. Hey Sara, how are you?
Doing well, very sore, but doing good.
It was incredible to see you out there today. We were at like mile 24, which was a tough point.
That was tough.
We will dive into your race. I can't believe that I have the honor of speaking to you.
It's great meeting you.
You are one of the most decorated American distance runners, but your career has been going and being successful for such a long time now, which is so inspirational. But could you take us back to the beginning when I guess running really became your thing?
Yeah, it was back, 30 years ago now. I grew up playing basketball and soccer, and knew I had speed from those sports. But I really fell in love with exploring the trails across the street from where I grew up in Northern California. And they were, gorgeous trails in wine country there. And I loved like the independence running gave me, at an age where you can't drive or you can't go anywhere by yourself. I was able to explore and like intentionally get lost and try to find my way home. And then I won my first race in a sprint finish. And after that, I was just hooked on competing too. And I loved just the individual sport aspect of it, that what I put into it, I saw myself get out of it, and I wasn't held back by my team or anything. And yeah, it was just love at first run.
Yeah, but that sounds like you didn't get into it because you were great at it. That came like secondary. Like it really was for, the mental health benefits, the exploration, really like finding yourself. How did running make you feel back then? And has it changed how you feel about the sport now?
Yeah, I didn't realize I loved pushing myself physically until I started running. And I would try to run the same loop faster every day. And then like once we started middle school cross country practice, we would do hill sprints. And the coach was like, the record is 25 or 24. I can't remember. I wrote it in my book, and I was like, I'm breaking that today. And it's funny. I think I found my fire through running, And so, but yeah, it was even before the first race, I found I loved getting to like explore while I was exploring the scenery, I was exploring my limits too.
Yeah. And you've pushed so many limits for yourself and for what we almost like expect women to be able to do. You broke the Masters record for the marathon, and today you were the fastest Masters time. How does it feel being now Am I allowed to say it? I don't want to say it. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay, so that's insane. So has your relationship with running changed from then to now? You've done like 8 Olympic trial cycles, like continuously. Like, your career is so incredible. Oh. But has your relationship with running changed?
Yeah, some things are the same in that I still love to push myself, and that really is ultimately what keeps me going right now, and why I titled my book For the Love of the Grind. It really is like I love the grind, and I don't like taking time off of training. I want to be out there like hammering and pushing myself. But so that's been the same since I was 13. And then obviously, there's more pressure doing it at a professional level. I have higher expectations of myself and all of those things. And now having 4 daughters, like I'm modeling things to them through my career. So it's not all negative things. It's like a lot of positive things. Able to, just connect with all the masses here at Boston in a different way. And so, running it's just deeper. It's more, more meaningful, but also comes with, higher stakes, higher risks and things at times too.
I love that you say you put more pressure on yourself now, because as people get older, or as they go through their career, I feel like their self-confidence sometimes like drops. Do you think you've built more self-confidence as your career's gone on?
In some ways, yeah. I think I realized in the writing process, like I was like, oh, I always think of like Ryan being the hero of my story or different people. And I was like, I'm the hero of this story. Like I found a way to keep believing in myself, even against all odds at every stage. And I think that's been really cool to realize just what running can do for all of us, right? It's like we're building that self-confidence and and being the heroes of all of our stories. Like I hope everyone feels like they're the hero of their story, and but yeah, it's I'm in an interesting point right now where I was with the lead pack for 16 miles today. And so I'm not focused on the masters competition. Like I want to compete up front, but I wasn't good enough to today, and I really suffered, but I'm still pushing for that. I'm not going for masters records or like focused on the competition within the competition,
Oh no, yeah, obviously you looked so strong out there. It was incredible. How did the race go?
The race was the most painful race of my life. It was so, yeah, I mean, it went amazing until it started to not go amazing, which can happen in the marathon, I felt really good. I was just flowing with the lead pack. We were clicking off really like low 520 splits and came through in 110. Can't remember exactly what our halfway split was. And but I could feel my quads. Like I could feel them start and Boston is just, the downhills just keep coming, and when you're starting to want the uphills that your quads are not in a great place. And as the race went on, it felt like someone was just stabbing me in the quads with a knife, like over and over, like, and I'm someone I feel like can handle pain. Like by now you're used to it, but this was like another level of pain where I was just like those last 6 miles were really tough.
But yeah, you were knocking off like 520 miles, but on the stream you and a lot of the other American girls at the front, you were just smiling and chatting to yourself, and I really love the like rivalry and camaraderie that the American distance running scene has at the moment. Like you feel like you all support each other so much, and you said it was like a solo sport earlier, but I feel like you're all definitely working together at the same time.
Yeah, it's a combo, right? Like we're all competing against each other. We all are giving our absolute best, but we have a lot of respect for each other. And American distance running is just like never been higher, never been deeper. And we saw that in, the number of girls in the top 10, even in a field like Boston, which is so, so deep. So yeah, I think when you're maybe when you're an outlier for your country, there's probably a lot of pressure just on you. Whereas on any given day, there could be someone else could be the top American, someone could, and I think, so I think that in some ways we just, have a lot of respect for each other, and we're just trying to, I find when I take my eyes off myself and encourage people in a race, it actually can help my race too. And that's not necessarily the goal of doing it, but I think partly talking to each other out there, it's a good atmosphere of, even when my quads were starting to get shot, I'm going to find ways to encourage the people around me. And so that's probably what you're seeing on the feed,
Yeah. I have heard you say though that you're quite good at hills. Like this is your third time doing Boston, is that right? Why do you keep coming back to this course?
Oh, this race is just so addictive. It's the course is just so hard to master, so it keeps you wanting to come back and do better because you're like, I know I can do better this time. But the crowd is just unreal. Like it's like hard to describe. And I think as an American specifically, we're just getting the crowd biased towards us, and people are knowledgeable here of the race. And then everyone in the race has to qualify. So they're knowledgeable about the sport because they care about the sport. And everything about it is, it's so tough, but so amazing.
If you could choose like a flat time trial race, like Valencia or Boston, which do you think you are most suited for?
I'm maybe more suited for a flat race, although I think my absolute best is downhills, and Boston has a ton of that. So I would say in that way it suits me if your quads can handle it, unlike today. But yeah, I would say my track record on the flat courses is probably better.
I remember you, I've got two really great memories of you racing. One was Valencia 2024. I raced that and I was behind you, but I remember how incredible that race was. And that's when it reminded me, seeing you race then, of my first sighting of you, which was London 2020. I want to throw it back to London 2020 or 2020 in general, but that race, your sprint finish, I'm very good at like letting people pass me. I just think in my head like, oh, they've probably done more training than me. They deserve it. And I just like wave them through quite often near the end. Your fire, like you do not give up. Like that was incredible. And I feel like 2020 was an up and down year for you. Could you bring us back to the Olympic Trials at 2020, and then we'll get on to London?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. 2020 was a roller coaster. Started out really wanting to make that Olympic team in, it was February 29th, 2020. I came in with the fastest time in the US the year before. I was 37 years old, and thinking this is likely going to be my last shot at an Olympic team. Like I'd been to, that was my seventh, I think at the time, Olympic trials, maybe sixth. And I had 4 kids at the time. And I was like, if I want to be an Olympian, it's now or never. And unfortunately, kind of like today, actually, my quads got really shattered by the downhills of that race and had to drop out at 30K. And it felt like, yeah, just such a loss, like the loss of the Olympic dream at the time. And then I just started to do what I always did after disappointment, which was just refocus to the next thing, pour myself into that and move on that way, which was the track trials. I was like, I don't really run track right now, but I'm going to go for it anyways. And then the world shut down, right? Every race got canceled. And for the first time ever, I wasn't able to handle disappointment the way I always had. And so at first, I started to take some time off, but to me, that was more torture than training with no idea of when the next race would be. And so I just started training in faith that there would be an opportunity. And eventually I was out on a run with a friend, and she's like, I heard London might have an elite only marathon. And as soon as we finished the run, I kept running straight to my car, texted my agent, like, please get me into London if they have a marathon. And yeah, so that was early 2020. But yeah, I was just desperate for an opportunity and just training in faith there would be one.
How do you reframe like that failure in your mind? Because so many people would just throw in the towel. How do you think like, I can come back stronger than this?
Yeah, I think at first you do have those thoughts. Like I brought my kids to Disney World after that race, and I'm standing in line and I'm like thinking of all the effort that went into, there's so much intentionality, especially when you're a mom, having to carve that time away, how to still show up well for your family while doing this. And I'm like, this is all not worth it, like to drop out of the race, and having all those thoughts. But then I also think of how much I loved the process. And even when the result doesn't go the way you want, like there's nothing I would rather be doing than this grind, and being out there with my husband on the bike and sharing those memories and moments together, and the feeling of training. And even just the feeling of believing and really like going all in on something and believing in yourself and betting on yourself and taking your shot, So that's what kept me coming back to that it's worth it.
And then you really did bet on yourself at London 2020. You came second. How was that race? And do you think the failure at the I don't want to say failure at first, but the Olympic trials not going the way you wanted it to go, do you think that lit a fire in your belly for London 2020, and then you went on at the marathon project that year to set your PR?
Yeah, I would say it did, but also, my career is riddled with failure, so I wouldn't say that's the defining thing that made London go the way it did, but yeah, getting a spot on the line in London was life-changing for me. At the time they didn't have a huge budget for appearance fees. They're like, basically what we can offer is you and your coach, which is my husband, to come and like you can stay in this hotel. It's this COVID bubble, and we did 21, I think, laps outside Buckingham Palace. Total silence, total dark rain, wind, And I don't know if you want me to go into all of this.
No, yes. I love talking about London Marathon.
Yeah. You know, and honestly, I was in super shoes for the first time and felt like I could take a shot at the American record. And so I went into that race with that secret goal. Mm-hmm. But there was a pace group going for the women's world record, which is 2:16, and women's only start world record. Mm-hmm. And then a 2:18 rabbit, and then 2:25, which was a huge gap, right? Yeah. And the American record at the time was 2:19:36. So I thought there was a good shot I would be running completely alone out there. And that's what happened. Like pretty soon into the race, I was just in no man's land. And I honestly started feeling kind of sorry for myself. Like I was like, I'm in the best shape of my life, and this is a terrible scenario. Like it's cold, and like you know, this gust of wind would just hit me in the face, and I'd be like, I'm like, see my splits start to slip from American record pace. But I really just was able to, in that moment, like slap myself and just shift to gratitude and be like, you are so lucky to have this opportunity right now in the middle of COVID to race, and like, you're feeling amazing. You're in the shape of your life. These girls are going to come back to you. And I shifted my thinking and started to, sure enough, one of the girls broke off the pack and I started chasing her down and just gained momentum throughout the race. And then in the end, second place. So
it's insane. Also, I sometimes think about like races which are really tough. Surely there's a greater fitness or like mental benefit you can gain from a tough race rather than just being in a flow state and it going great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like even today was very character building, you know, like maybe in another scenario I would have dropped out because I was having such a hard time like moving forward, but that took a lot to fight through that. And I know that that's going to pay off in some way, at some point, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're so pleased you didn't drop out, but you don't really, like you've dropped out of what, like 4 or 5 races and you've been racing over so many years. And yeah, we've had the pleasure of watching you for all that time. Can you talk to us about the marathon project and your PR?
Yeah. So after London, you know, I was honestly on cloud 9, like second at the London Marathon. I mean, it's arguably like the toughest marathon to get on the podium in the world. And I couldn't believe it. Especially just the whole backstory of my career, just how that would have seemed so unlikely after my first marathon, which is a total disaster, you know? And it's a race where I'd seen Ryan, my husband, just come alive. He ran his first marathon there and was out there leading the race against world record holders and Olympic champions. And he just made it look so easy, but my career trajectory like was never like that, you know? But yeah, after London, I was, it would have made more sense to like take some town time and just enjoy, but just how I'm wired, I'm already thinking of the next thing. And I heard there's some rumors of another COVID bubble marathon in Arizona, which is actually the state where I live. And sure enough, there was an opportunity to run the marathon project down there. Another less than ideal course, run in circles, but was able to run 2:20:32 while taking a shot at the American record, which I didn't quite get, but ended up second in U.S. history.
Yeah, I was going to say at the time it was second. How did that feel?
You know, at the time I was surprised I wasn't able to run the American record. I thought my training, I had worked out on that course for like a month prior to the race and felt like things were just clicking. It was magic. And I thought I could get that record. And so I would say initially my feeling was disappointment, but also I think with a little bit of time, just the perspective of how far I'd come from someone that didn't even think she had what it took to run professionally to be second in U.S. history. Like it's come to mean a lot more to me. With each year that goes by.
As someone who didn't believe they could do it, to someone now who believes you believe in yourself so much, and we all should believe in ourselves like you do. And I feel like so many people tell themselves that they peak early on in their career, and I think that like limits them and smallens their horizons. How have you changed your mindset to just believe in like crazy things and have huge aspirations and dreams?
Yeah, you know, it's not that you don't have doubts, like when you have that deep belief in yourself. And that's what I think you see like a common thread throughout my book is like, there's tons of doubts all the time. And it's really like, do do you entertain those doubts, or are you able to discard them because you have a deep-seated belief in yourself? And I think for me, you forge that, it's almost like a muscle that gets stronger. And the more that you do bounce back from disappointment and have a success, or you do get through a race like today that's really, really difficult, it's like that muscle just gets stronger and stronger. And it's always like a deep rooted thing that you just, you can't shake later.
That's a really cool way of thinking about it. Like that it is a muscle, your belief. And I also heard you talking about like callousing your mind for a marathon. It's like a similar kind of throughway there. What does that mean to you? And like callousing yourself for a marathon?
Yeah, I think honestly, when it comes to obviously you need to callous your legs with miles and pounding and being out on the roads, but for your mind, it's almost like talking yourself through the really tough times. And in a marathon, you're gonna have good patches, you're gonna have bad patches, and you have to be able to weather the bad patches without freaking out, or like your brain the whole time is trying to protect you, and it's trying to like keep you safe, and it's like, just stop, you don't need to be doing this, and all the and you just learning not to listen to that and override those when it makes sense, right? At some points it's important to stop, and for your safety, for your health and stuff, but when it's just the pain, like learning to override those signals is what training is all about. It's just as much about your mind as your body,
because it is so easy to talk yourself out of races, and it's so like normal to be nervous. You've just done your 5th marathon in 6 months. That was Boston. Why have you decided to do so many races in quick succession? Is that a tactical decision for your training?
Yeah, I just really love racing. I used to be jealous of Yuki Kawauchi, Boston Marathon champ in 2018. He would run marathons like every weekend, and he wasn't always running them at like the top elite field level, but he just could race and have an amazing ability to recover, and then to win Boston was just unreal. And so I was always like, man, one day I'm gonna go full Yuki and just do all the races I want to do. And I wouldn't say I'm quite there yet, but I'm getting closer. Like, this was definitely the most I've ever done in a short period. And it kind of just evolved. Like, my New York was a disappointment and was really hungry for redemption, like I've done multiple times, and tried to turn it around. And then just had the opportunity to run some other races I was excited about, like here, and just kept rolling, and just was really curious too. I think at this point in your career, you just want to keep exploring new things and what's possible, and challenging yourself.
Have you been less nervous on each start line as those 5 have gone on?
Ooh, I don't think so. I think my nerves correlate with how ready I feel, and I feel like I've gotten more ready as the 5 have gone on. Like, my fitness has increased, and how I'm responding to training has improved a lot. And so yeah, in that way, I was probably the loosest in some ways today.
Yeah. But like, you haven't been able to fit in that much training because you're like running so many marathons. Like, it's basically a marathon, you recover a bit, a couple of weeks training, and then you got a taper for the next. Have you been seeing each marathon as just another training run, like another stepping stone? And has that taken the pressure off a little bit, that again, it's just like your longevity in your career, like there are going to be so many marathons? Is that the mindset?
Well, I feel like I go all in on each one of them. Like, even though I run a lot of them, like, I really care deeply about each one. And today I'm bummed, like, and like the ones that haven't gone well, I get really bummed, and I think that doesn't change. So I think maybe at some level, it takes some of the pressure off of it when you've at least had a couple really good ones, that versus if you're just going all in on one race for the last 6 months or 8 months, like, there's some pressure that comes with that for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for me, I'm able to recover and get back to training pretty quickly. Like, I think durability's been my strength. And so I've been able to fit in a good amount of training even with all the racing.
Yeah. How do you recover so optimally? I've also seen like some of your training. You love a long run. Like, you do miles. And how do you bounce back so quickly from those and marathons?
Oh man, I feel like recovery is an art. I'm constantly fine tuning and figuring out. I mean, obviously my Metaspeed Edge super shoes are the biggest thing. Like they so bouncy and like they really help versus, you know, the normal racing shoes we used to run in. But then I think a lot of it is you know, what if you're in the weight room, like really callousing your legs in there, like making sure I'm doing long runs on pavement, like versus dirt, you know, making sure I'm callousing my legs in that way. And also just how you take care of yourself outside of training, right? Like it's the sleep, it's the nutrition, all the stuff we know. But I think I'm pretty relentless with like protecting my sleep and with the details. And so, so yeah, and that's kind of just become a lifestyle at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been doing it so long that it's like a reflex.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Runna Podcast. Quick one from me. Please can you rate, preferably 5-star, and follow us on your chosen podcast listening platform. This allows us to keep creating the best episodes and bringing you the most inspiring guests to help you along your running journey. Thank you. Does Ryan, your husband and coach, always agree with your way of approaching training? Because I feel like he's had a crazy marathon career too, but it was like short and super, super impressive. And yours is just as impressive, but you've got the longevity. Have your approaches differed?
They're different. Yeah, we're wired really differently. I would say we're the same in that we love the grind and we love to train really hard, but he would like to just be like a boxer, like hide himself in the mountains for 6 months, come out and run the marathon, that just go all in on that, versus I like to race a lot. And I'm a little more moderate where he's like very extreme. He's either all in or all out. Like as soon as he retired, he just stopped running cold turkey. He became jacked from all this like lifting in the weight room, versus like, I want to run forever. Like I want to be out here with these age groupers one day, you know? And so yeah, we're a little different that way. And I think that's led to longevity for me, that like I'm able to kind of weather the down periods maybe a little better than him, because yeah, he's either all in or all out, versus I'm like just sticking in there as long as I can.
Yeah. It must be so nice to have like a shared experience with your husband and coach, and like have a similar sense of achievement and similar goals, and to be able to support each other through it all. How important is that support network for you?
Huge. I mean, I've learned everything almost about the marathon from Ryan. Like he made it look so easy, but like he's also just an incredible just support in how he's supported me for my whole career. Like even when I was really struggling, he never once insinuated it's time to like hang it up, you know? Like he was always believing in me that if I wanted to keep doing this, like he was all in with me. And even when I'd have a really bad race, like he never questioned that I mentally gave up. He's like, you're super mentally tough. And he believes like the way to believe you're mentally tough, or the way to become mentally tough is to believe that you're mentally tough, is the starting point, you know? And so he never questioned that I was, and it helped me believe that I was. And it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know? Yeah. Like when you start to doubt that you're mentally tough, then you do have a hard time being tough in the race, you know? And so he's just, yeah, I've never needed a sports psychologist, because he's always just helped me with the mental side of everything and reframing things. And he's an incredible coach.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. And yeah, I do kind of relate. I think about this a lot. And I think there are so many ways you can train for a marathon or any running race. But at the end of the day, if everybody trains similarly, you can achieve similar things within your own like parameters. But the thing that really sets people apart is no one's brain quite works the same as each other's.
Yeah.
And you must have such a strong head on you. Like you must. What does go through your head when it gets really tough?
Oh man, you know, if you read my book, you'd disagree. Like, I mean, it's riddled with doubt and second guessing myself. And I think really what's just been the difference though is just continuing to get back up and go for it again. And in the process, like I was saying, that developing that muscle of self-belief that just doesn't go away no matter how many doubts you're bombarded with, you know? And even so, I think really in training, you have to figure out what's going to work for you on race day, right? Like when you're starting to get those doubts or after a bad race, like what is going to help you move forward. And for me, I have different mantras I use. I like to use relax and roll. I like to count down in my head when I'm really in pain to kind of like signal to my brain. I actually got this from British Paula Radcliffe. She used to count, and I read that in her book, and I started it. And it almost like tricks your brain that like there's going to be an end to the pain when you get to 0, even though you just start counting all over again for the next mile. And yeah, I think just telling myself the well is deep. Like even when you're hurting, you can keep hurting. And just those are the ones that like work for me. But you kind of just play with stuff in training and figure out like what sticks and what you respond well to.
Oh, that gives me shivers. Did you think about your eldest daughter on the race course today? Because this was the first race course which you've shared with her.
I did, yeah. I'm so proud of Hannah. She qualified for Boston in her very first marathon. She's been juggling training all along with working a lot in ministry school full time. And so I was thinking about her out there and like knowing that she was a little undertrained and she would likely be feeling kind of like I did out there with her quads. But it was so special to get to be there at the finish when she crossed, and she was crying. She was so overcome with emotion, and she had such an amazing experience as I knew she would. And so, yeah, Boston is like up there in the top memories of my whole life. And so to have her be able to experience that too is really special.
From your first Boston to maybe this Boston, do you think the shoes have helped to have that? Like, were the hills easier today being in those super shoes?
Yeah, I think you don't need to be quite as calloused as you used to be, for sure. I think my first Boston, I came in with a very short buildup because of injury. And cardiovascularly, I was really strong from cross training, but my legs were not calloused and I was in the normal flats. And that definitely, I struggled. And I think that it does help with I think you see younger marathoners being able to have good results kind of right away. And I think some of that is they're not quite as gristled or calloused as maybe an old, over time that we used to need.
Yeah. I also think if you die in the marathon now, you don't fall off a cliff quite as much in these shoes.
That's true.
I actually never raced not in super. Well, I did one marathon not in super shoes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, not in super shoes.
Yeah, not in super shoes. Yeah. No, I'm just fascinated by all like the new innovations in the sport. Your book comes out tomorrow as the day of recording. I don't know if we actually said, but this is being recorded like hours after you crossed the finish line, which is just crazy. How was it writing the book, and are you scared to be out in public?
Oh man, yeah. It's funny because Kira D'Amato was telling me that when she wrote the book, as it got closer, because she was really vulnerable, she felt nervous. And I'm like, I hope I don't have a panic attack on the starting line, considering it's the day before the release. But no, I'm really excited. It was a grind writing it as I wrote it myself, which made it, a ton more work, but also more rewarding because it's like this piece of art I get to put out into the world that like I made, and I really wrote it to share what I believe are my secrets to longevity. Like I want to be able to have other people learn from my successes and failures and things I've experimented with, and hopefully be able to apply it to their running and their life really and their grind, and so, yeah, it's been really fun to be able to already put it in the hands of like 300 people here in Boston a little bit early. But yeah, it comes out tomorrow. So feeling excited.
I can't wait to read it. What do you think, in short, we will obviously read the book as well, but what do you think is your secret to longevity in the sport?
Yeah, loving the process, like the title says, for the love of the grind. I think this sport can be so fickle. You can have weather days that sabotage you, or at the elite level, people doping that steal your moments. And you see all of these things in my book, things that went my way, mostly things didn't go my way, but throughout it, I loved the process so much that it kept me coming back to doing more. And you really see though, what it took to love the process. And for me, it was learning a lot of mental things, spiritual, emotional things that were holding me back earlier and stealing my love of training and love of the process, and how I overcame those to really love it more than ever.
But there must be some days which you don't want to go out for a run. Do you still experience those?
It's funny, I don't experience not wanting to run ever, honestly. I think there's certain days I don't want to do like the gym work or the ancillary stuff. I don't love some of the stuff I have to do at an elite level. And I would say today I had thoughts of this career, I don't know, there's got to be less painful careers out there than this. I mean, I was like, maybe I should have titled my book something else because I'm not really enjoying this part of the grind right now, you know? So there's moments for sure, but I do mostly really love training, you know?
But yeah, it would be easier to like pull out or take an easier career, but I just feel like that wouldn't fulfill you. And there's that feeling of a marathon, which is like emptying yourself so wholeheartedly is when you feel most fulfilled.
Yeah.
And I love thinking about that. And I think you kind of made me think that too. I think you leave it all out there on every race course, like every time you race.
Thank you. Yeah, there is something beautiful about giving yourself fully to something that makes you come alive, you know, regardless of the result. Like that process of going all in is just really beautiful and holy, I think.
And like a perfect marathon block, perfect training, even that doesn't guarantee like success on race day. Like anything can happen in a marathon.
Yep, totally.
It's kind of fun. It is kind of fun. What is next for you?
Yeah, well, I'm going to try to take a break from training. I haven't voluntarily taken a break from training in a very long time outside of injury. So I really, after these 5 marathons, I was like, my body needs it mentally. I want to be able to really be present with my kids. They're going to be on summer break soon and really be able to just enjoy running in the trails in Crested Butte. And so, but before that is the book tour. So that's the next marathon, I guess, is heading out on book tour for a week. And I'm really looking forward to just meeting a lot of people that have followed my career for so long and having more time. Because I feel like at these race weekends, we do appearances, but you're like trying to conserve your energy but just like being able to just be really present and just getting to spend more time with people.
Yeah. I just have a feeling that your rest isn't actually going to be that restful, and that's just part
You're pretty smart.
And on that note, we'll transition over to hear from Coach Steph.
Today, we're talking about your biggest recovery tool, sleep. Sleep is the most powerful recovery tool that you can have. It repairs tissues, balances hormones, and consolidates the training adaptations. If you can't recover optimally, then your training might start to suffer. So prioritize getting that quality sleep, just like you do with your training runs.
I have a little discussion point for you. So you discuss battling anxiety and imposter syndrome in the sport in your book. How have you navigated this? And could you share your secret to success and rebuilding that self-belief?
Yeah, for me, it was really through my faith. Like I had to get really rooted in my identity apart from being a runner and success and what I was doing, and really rooting it in who I was as a person, and also just being worthy of love and belonging no matter what. You know, like I think I built an identity around if I succeed, people love me and accept me, and without realizing it. And at an early age, I encountered criticism online where if I failed, people were like ripping me apart on these anonymous message boards. And it really got in my head at a really pivotal age where that's what you want as a teenage girl, is like love and belonging. And it planted this seed in my heart that kind of got watered by bad coaching and other things. And so really it was undoing that through realizing, no, like God loves me fully, unconditionally. So does my family and my husband. And like I'm worthy of that, whether people give that to me or not. Like I'm worthy of love and belonging no matter how I perform.
Yeah, and like your kids, you're still just mom to like your kids.
Yeah.
Does that help?
It does. They are in it with me, and they follow the sport more than ever, but they've seen me fail probably more times than they've seen me succeed. And at the end of the day, yes, it's you go back to your family, and that's real life. That's like the best part of life, you know?
I feel like we've spoken so much about failure, but like every race that hasn't gone quite to plan, that doesn't take away from everything you've achieved. Like it doesn't make you a failure. Like you have succeeded in so many things and broken so many records and have so many titles. Like, yeah, you're one of the most decorated American distance runners. Like I don't think we can call it failure. What would be one piece of advice you would tell your younger self?
Oh man, that's a really good one. I would say, yeah, you're so loved. Like, you get to just send it for the joy of it and enjoy the feeling of being out there and spend less time worrying about. I really struggled with the selfishness of running, whether I've always saw myself doing development work internationally and like living a life of service. And I really held that up as that's the ideal, right? To really live a life of meaning. And I really struggled with, is running, devoting my life to running, is that selfish? Is that self-centered? And I would say I still struggle with it a little bit at times. And you see in my book the whole journey of my thought process with that. But I would say the world needs more people that are doing something in their heart that makes them come alive with a heart to love and serve other people through that thing. Mm-hmm. It's not as much about like what you're doing, but how you do it, you know? Yeah. And I think that's what I've learned later. And I hope I could give that to my younger self.
Yeah, no, it's so true. When you hear people talk about something that they're passionate about, I think it inspires you so much, like no matter what it is. And I think you're doing great acts of service to like the whole running world and like changing our beliefs on what is possible. So thank you for everything you're doing. You get to choose one of these things. Younger legs or an experienced mind?
Ooh, experienced mind.
Okay, would you rather only ever train solo or Ryan always runs next to you?
Ryan always runs next to me for sure. We spent like the first 10 years of life doing everything together all day long, so I never get sick of him yet.
Do you ever train like as a family with your daughters as well?
We do, yeah. And my kids all run in varying capacities. I had one that graduated college and ran all 5 years of college, and then one being recruited right now that's a senior in high school. But yeah, sometimes they pick it up and sometimes take breaks from it, but it's beautiful that it's always there for them, you know?
Yeah, if that feels a bit like they've chosen running rather than they feel like they ought to because of who you and Ryan are. So
I hope so. Yeah, they definitely have the genes. You know, they're Ethiopian. We adopted them from Ethiopia 10 years ago. And so they were gifted at it. And then I think they all found a way to make it their own at times, like in their own timing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I feel like they're going to achieve great things if they can like pick up on yours and Ryan's mindsets through nurture. I think they're only in for success. Last one, grinding on the treadmill or braving bad weather?
Grinding on the treadmill. I actually kind of like the treadmill. I mean, I don't train on it very often, but I feel like I can run faster on the treadmill than on land, so I think I would choose that.
I used to hate the treadmill, but I now agree. I don't know what it is. And maybe it's like locking into this like pain dungeon. It feels quite like empowering.
I mean, as long as you have a good playlist, that's an absolute must. I don't think I can handle it otherwise.
Our final question we like to ask all of our guests is to design your dream race. So what distance is it and where is it? And then food and drink at the finish line and who would present you with your award.
Ooh.
So first of all, distance and where would you place it? This can be so hypothetical. You can dream up whatever you want.
And am I doing this as a professional athlete or just someone enjoying the race?
It's up to you. It can be a mass participation race. It can be a solo adventure.
Okay. I think I'm going to say Japan because they love the marathon so rabidly that they would come out in mass.
You did Tokyo, didn't you? I did Tokyo. I found it so hard.
Yeah. I don't know, something about Japan, their commitment to excellence, like in everything they do, just inspires me, you know?
But they attack a marathon bravely like you. Like they just go all out, and like if they blow up, they blow up, but they've been really brave.
It's their culture. Yeah, it's like this like samurai mindset. It's really inspiring.
Really cool. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, Japan.
I'm gonna go with a marathon because they love the marathon. Nice. And I feel like I can't say Tokyo because there's already a marathon there, but maybe some kind of point to point, like slight downhill right in the dead of winter, like January for like cold weather. And yeah.
Do you like cold weather running?
I love the cold, yeah.
So today was pretty good. It was good. Pretty cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Are we talking like mass participation? Have we got your daughters there?
I think so. I mean, I feel like mass participation brings all the crowds out.
Yeah.
And, like, I want the thickest crowds possible.
Yeah, no end, not deadly silent like London.
No.
Not laps. Seeing everything. I like where this is going. What food and drink would you have at the finish line?
Ooh, well, raw fish is my power food, and we're in Japan, so I've never eaten that like right after a race. I'm thinking it could be good, but I'll say like poke bowls with some kind of delicious like slushy to drink.
Yeah, when the sun comes out after the race.
Yeah.
Great. And who would present you with your award?
Wow, I'm gonna go with Barack Obama.
I thought you were going to say like a marathon legend.
Yeah, that was just out of left field.
No, I think that's cool. I think we'll see what we can make happen. Barack Obama, if you're listening, would really like to get you involved in this.
Yes.
Thank you so much for chatting to us like hours after crossing the finish line. And it was really cool to witness you in action.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you guys.
Thank you. Where can we get your book?
Anywhere books are sold. For the US audience, they're all over bookstores or Amazon. For people in the UK, you can hear me listen to I'm reading the audiobook. And so anywhere like Audible or anything, you can get that too.
Great. That'll be my next long run listening sorted.
Aww.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you go, we've got something very exciting to share. We have launched our limited edition Lululemon Runner collection, Your Best Yet.
It's a 10-piece London capsule built for every runner, for every mile, from those training miles through to race day. Designed for both men and women, it performs both on the run and for long after you've finished.
It's available now in the Lululemon London Regent Street store or online in the US and UK.
It's a limited drop, so when it's gone, it's gone.